istiqamah. First of all, what is istiqamah? Istiqamah, yastaqim, istaqim, it means to stay firm. So istiqamah is, for example, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, He doesn't just tell us to pray, He says, iqam as-salah or aqimu as-salah. What does that mean? He's telling us to be firm in salah or to establish the salah firmly. So istiqamah is to establish something firmly or to be solid in something, to be firm in it. Another example to give you sort of an illustration from the physical world of istiqamah is if you look at a solid tree. A solid tree has istiqamah because it stands firm and solid even when the wind blows. Even if a storm hits, it stays firm. Now the question is, how can we be like that? Now, of course, in the context of our deen, it's talking about being firm in our iman, being firm in our worship, being consistent and solid in our worship and our belief. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us there's two parts. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا anyone? عَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about iman, He couples it with amal, right? He couples it with action. So we know that there's two parts of what we're supposed to be doing. There's the inner part, and then there's the outer part. What's the inner part? The belief, the iman. Another way that this is referred to is the ibadah of the heart. There's a ibadah for the heart. There's a worship for the heart. There's also a ibadah for the limbs, for the body, for the tongue. There's a worship for the ears, for the eyes. So there are the internal ibadat, the internal part, and then there's the external part. The internal part has to do with our belief, our iman, how we think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we view Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we respond internally with the things that we face in life. That's internal. Our certainty or doubt, right? Certainty is yaqeen. Doubt is shak. So these are all things that are internal. And then there's the external part, which is our worship externally, prayer, reading Quran, guarding our ears, guarding our eyes. All of that is the external type of ibadah. Now, in order for us to have istiqamah, we have to have istiqamah internally and we have to have istiqamah externally. And they're connected to each other. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna fil jasadi mudgha." Indeed, in the body there's a lump of flesh. إِذَا صَلُحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. If it's set right, then the entire body will be set right. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. And if it is corrupted, then the entire body will be corrupted. أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبِ. Indeed, it's the heart. So what are we learning from this hadith? We're learning that the master of the body isn't actually the mind. That sounds a little strange because many people try to say, no, my mind is in control over my heart, right? You hear this a lot. My mind controls my heart. Well, I have a news flash for you. It's actually your heart that controls your mind. What do I mean by that? The type of heart that you have will control your thoughts, your mind, your actions. The type of heart you have. And so the mind actually becomes a slave to the heart. That's interesting. That you will think of ways, you will become, the mind becomes a slave to whatever the heart is. So for example, if the heart is corrupted, the mind will think of ways to do corrupt things. And that's because the heart is corrupted. the mind becomes a tool and a slave to whatever's in the heart. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that if you take care of that lump of flesh, which is the heart, the qalb, everyone clear that when I say the heart, I'm not talking about the physical heart. I'm talking about the spiritual heart, the qalb. The qalb. So if that heart is purified, then the rest of the body will be purified. See, إِذَا صَلُحَتْ, if it is set right, then the entire body will be set right. What does it mean when the Prophet ﷺ says the entire body will be set right? It means our actions will be set right. When you purify the heart, when you take care of the heart, when you feed the heart, when you rectify the heart, then your actions follow.